think you shut it.
She knew you were coming. She goes, watch this one getting good.
Oh,
The door needs to be open. Hey, can you open the door, please, Stacy?
Yeah,
Or
that
somebody,
needs to
Doug,
be
can you open the
open.
door?
Yeah. That door's going back there.
You cold? You wanna?
How about, one by Carrie?
Open a different door.
Can you open
Not
it?
that.
Can you open the door by, thank you. Sorry, I didn't know why you had it closed.
Ow. Okay. What's that? This is all mine because it's telling me that the belly ache tonight. Then I don't-
I want to thank everybody for coming out to the September 9th Elkhart Community Schools School Board meeting. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. And would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for
Thank you. You may be seated. Ms. Vondervellen, the Elkhart Promise.
Every student is known by name, challenged and supported by highly effective staff, and in partnership with the community, will graduate career, college-ready, and life-ready.
Thank you, Ann.
You're welcome.
Our invitation to speak protocol. Everyone received a little pamphlet on your seat. This is a form that needs to be filled out and given the door. If you haven't done that, please do so now if you'd like to speak. When your name is called, please step up to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to speak about any non-agenda or agenda item. Because of the Family Rights and Privacy Act, I say this every time, please, this is not the venue to address personnel or personal student issues. So please refrain from doing that. And with that said, Dora? Thank you. First person for public comment, Sean Simmons.
I am a long-term substitute at Westside Middle School, now beginning my 4th year. I hold 3 undergraduate degrees and a master's degree. I spent over 30 years in another profession before dedicating myself to serving students here. The truth is, the only difference between me and other teachers is a teaching license. I am in the process of taking my praxis exam and enrolling at IWU, and yet my pay has been cut drastically from previous years to the point that my daughter, who is in college and working a part-time job, now earns more than I do per hour. I do the same daily work as a licensed teacher, but I am not compensated fairly for that responsibility. My value and the value of other substitutes cannot be measured on a spreadsheet alone. Over the past 3 years, I've proven my commitment and effectiveness. I've provided stability in the classroom, built trust with students and staff, and even contributed to raising the iLearn student scores by 5%. That's measurable growth for our school. Growth that does not happen without consistency and dedication. That came at a cost, my cost. I put in 10 to 12-hour days, spent my own money on school supplies, and paid out of pocket to decorate my classroom so students can walk into a space that feels positive and inspiring. That kind of investment goes far beyond filling in. It shows the dedication substitutes like me bring to this district. But here's the bigger issue. Elkhart Community Schools face a real shortage of teachers and substitutes. And if Elkhart does not take care of their subs, the weight falls directly on certified teachers who are already stretched thin. And when classrooms are filled with students who are below proficiency on standards, struggling with disrespect and often unwilling to learn, the load on teachers only grows heavier. These pressures are driving good educators, teachers, and subs alike, making it even harder to recruit and retain the people desperately needed. Elkhart cannot afford to make it harder to recruit and retain people willing to step into these roles. That is why I'm asking for a creation of a substitute tier system similar to what exists for certified teachers. Right now, certified long-term subs who plan and grade see their increase by nearly $100 compared to daily subs. Substitutes like myself who plan, grade, and help with classroom management receives no additional compared to daily subs. A tier system would recognize the real responsibilities long-term subs carry and would make it possible to attract and keep qualified people until teachers fill those vacancies. I am proud of the work that I've done at Westside. I believe in this mission of the district, but to keep dedicated teachers and substitutes in place, we need more than words of appreciation. We need action.
Julie Gunn.
My name is Julie Gunn, and I'm a first grade teacher at Oslo School. When Dr. Huff became our superintendent, one of his top 3 priorities was to adopt a customer service mindset for families, colleagues, and students. And I'd like to briefly address this priority for our families, colleagues, and students at Oslo School. On back to school night, families of my students were already concerned. They were worried about the large class sizes. They were worried that their students would be the ones chosen to switch later if we got somebody. And they were worried about the reduction of 2 sections per each grade at Oslo 2. So for my colleagues and I, my gen ed colleagues and I, we're veteran, highly effective teachers, and we keep striving to be excellent despite the burdensome class sizes. Our special education, EL teacher, intervention teacher, they currently each carry the load of 2 teachers. So at the moment, our special ed teacher has 26 students that she is supervising and the teacher of record for. Now, I appreciate that positions are slowly getting filled. I realize that they are. But my teaching partner is a first grade teacher who has 29 students in her class. I only have 26, but I have special ed students in my class who have very specific needs. So that brings me to the very last point, our students. It's why we're all here, why we're all present. And I just want us to remember that they deserve the very best customer service possible. And I just want us to do everything we can to bring that to them. Thank you.
Nikki Grenand. I didn't get it right.
You did great.
Hi, my name is Nikki Gernan, and I am a teacher at Eastwood, and I have been for 22 years. I'm also the mom of 2 Elkhart High School graduates. At the last school board meeting, I was unable to attend. Eastwood is able to celebrate our remarkable gains in iRead scores, and I want to highlight some other things that make Eastwood a great place. We've had a great start to our school year, helped by the fact that almost all of our staff returned from last year. Our amazing PTA has helped our year start off right with Popcorn Friday and our Fall Fun Fair last Friday. One other very successful thing that is our MTSS, multi-tier student support system committee that assists students that are struggling academically and or behaviorally. I believe our team at Eastwood is one of the best, and I am so happy the decision to keep MTSS staff the way it has been in past years and not make significant cuts. So I thank you for that. What I'm here to focus on is the lack of social studies textbooks in the elementary classroom, specifically in 4th and 5th grade. Last year, it was decided not to adopt a social studies book for elementary classes. This wasn't a decision that was asked for teacher input. It was a decision told to us. We were told to use the Reading Series and Discovery Learning Online platform to supplement. That might be doable for K through 3, but not possible for 4th and 5th grade. In 4th and 5th grade, we are reading to learn, no longer learning to read. The social studies book was a big way to practice that skill, but now that is gone. Fourth grade is Indiana history, and I'm pretty sure there's nothing in the series about Indiana history. Fifth grade is studying U.S. history, and the reading series provides little to support the curriculum. Our next unit is about Native Americans, which sounds great, but that's about the Native Americans in Central and South America, not the ones of the United States. That's Unit 8, way too late in the school year for all the standards that we are to cover. I know our primary focus in elementary is reading, language arts, and math, but social studies and science gives students something different, something that they may excel at when struggling in other areas. Even though it isn't used and evaluated in our district, fifth graders do take a social studies test with iLearn in April. And students learning the history and facts about our country couldn't be more important in an era where people are trying to rewrite history to fit their narrative. We are focused on K-3 and middle school a lot this year, as it should be, but it feels like fourth and fifth grade are getting overlooked. And the assumption is that fourth and fifth does everything the same that our K-3 staff does. We also are off in the grades with less support. We are very important grades, and we need support and attention. I understand that we are very tight on funds, but please consider adopting a social studies curriculum for at least fourth and fifth grade for the next school year. Thank you.
I'm probably going to get this one wrong too. Sarah Florshinger. I was going to say Florshinger.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Florshinger. I am a 33-year veteran teacher of Elkhart Community Schools, having spent 24 years at Pinewood and now the last 9 at Oslo. I also sent both my boys through the school system, and I'm pleased to say they are thriving. As I just mentioned, I currently teach at Oslo, and I'm proud of the hard work and gains we made throughout our building last year, especially in the areas of iRead. We poured every resource we had into developing our students to be successful, and the progress really showed. This year, however, feels different already. I am completely aware of the funding issues here and around the state, but currently my building is missing an ENL teacher, along with a first grade, second grade, and third grade teacher. I myself am doing reading interventions by myself instead of with a colleague as I have in years past. At the end of May, we were fully staffed, only to find out that 3 of our dedicated and talented teachers were asked to transfer to other buildings. The irony is that now we're scrambling to try to fill those same 3 positions. We've been told of various scenarios regarding these positions. They would be filled, they would not be filled, they would be given to a sub, or they would be covered by a paraprofessional. 30+ students in the class has created low morale and high frustration. Dr. Huff, at our annual back to school meeting at the high school, you stated that open communication and transparency would be key. At this time, the staff at my school is in desperate need of consistent and timely communication. Students suffer when teachers are not given the tools needed to succeed, including reliable answers from the district. We need to feel supported, heard, and seen. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thank you. I believe that was the last one. Next on the agenda, we have the Monger report. April Walker. It almost sounds like an official report, the Monger report.
Good evening, President Scott, members of the board, Dr. Huff. I'm April Walker, principal of Monger Elementary, and I am excited to present and brag tonight on Monger Elementary School. So we started the 2024-25 school year with pretty basic goals. It's always to get better in reading and math. With an 80% iRead 3 pass rate and a goal to improve student attendance. So on the screen, you can see iLearn trend data for the past 5 years since 2021 ELA. We have had an 18% increase from 2021 to 2025 in reading and a 25% increase, or we have doubled our pass percentage in math since 2021. On the screen, you see graphs that have Munger's passing percentage compared to Elkhart Community Schools and the state passing percentage. And for the first time, we were higher than the state average in both reading and math. I know it's only by 0.3 of a point for ELA, but
I can see it.
it's still there. Okay. This looks a little busy, but I'm going to just highlight, this is our ELA demographics report. We were higher than the state average in all but 2 subcategories. The one that I want to highlight is our EL percentage. We had 33.8% passing compared to the state's 12.7% passing. Okay. In math, we were higher than the district and state averages in every single category and nearly 30% higher pass percent for our EL population. And I'll give a little shout out that we were 10% higher for our females in math, so girl power there. Okay. And just on the lines of math, our 6th grade math growth, so the state of Indiana has a goal to have 45.8% of students meeting their individual growth goals by 2030. Munger had 62% of students meet their growth targets in 2024. So we have already exceeded the state average with 6 years to grow more.
I have a quick question on that. What is the expected growth target for a student per year? What do you look at?
So it's different per student. So they use like a formula. So let's pretend in 3rd grade, I'm just going to make up numbers. They scored a 500 on the iLearn test. So all of the students in 3rd grade who scored a 500 in 3rd grade are considered a cohort. So the following year, they will find like the average growth for those students. And then that's how they get assigned an individual growth target. So it's different for every student. Okay, we had an 80% goal for passing iRead 3, which we increased from the year prior by 11%. And we increased our 2nd grade pass rate by 14%. Okay, for attendance, Munger is the recipient of the Full Service Community Schools Grant. It is a grant that extends over 5 years, and there are 5 Elkhart schools and 3 Concord schools that receive it. So we have used these funds for increasing student engagement with after-school programming, increasing student engagement, and community engagement. So last year, we had 158 of our 408 students, but 158 students in 2nd through 6th grade participated in at least one 6-week round of after-school programming, and that's not including elementary athletics. We did summer clubs with about 30 students where we took students to different places around the state and community on field trips. We did things like reading challenges, book clubs, math clubs, ask and explore science clubs, Girls on the Run, Cause for Pause, music and art, sign language, remediation, and like I said, summer trips. So why do I tell you that? Because engaged students and engaged families equals improved student attendance. In 24-25, we held 47 individual parent meetings where we created attendance contracts and plans to support families in getting their children to school. That's 4 times the number of attendance hearings we held the previous year. In 23-24, we had 41% of our students attend 95% or more days of school. Last year, we had 56% of students attend 95% or more, which is a 15% increase. We targeted 44 students who were on the chronically absent list. 29 of those 44 students fell off the chronically absent list by the end of the year. Also, a result of Munger's full service community schools efforts, we were the recipient of the Family Friendly Schools designation by the Indiana Department of Education. And it feels a little like I shouldn't be the one up here because my staff are the ones who deserve all the kudos. And there's a lot of them back there. They thought it would make me less nervous, although I feel like they made me more nervous, making me go through a dancing line on the way in. But they truly define, when you always hear the studies and the research on collective teacher efficacy, but this group, they are it. They work together to have appropriately high, challenging expectations for what a year's worth of growth looks like. And this quote from John Hattie, it's not just a growth mindset. It's not just rah-rah thinking. It's not just, oh, we can make a difference. But it is that combined belief that it's us that causes learning. And then
We are the Munger Mustangs. We'll show pride in all we do. We will demonstrate persistence, respectfulness,
initiative,
dependability, and efficiency. We give our best and take pride in all that we do. For we are the Munger Mustangs through and through.
Thank you.
Thank you, April. Do we have any questions or comments?
I have a couple comments. One, I just want to say congratulations to you and your school community. You really are changing lives down there on the south side of town. Kudos to your outstanding teachers back there as well. When I hear you and your teachers talk, I sometimes can't tell the difference. Other than your high-pitched voice, I know it's but the expectations for it's different. But for the expectations of kids, that they know that they can do it, and they all can do it, and the struggle is the way, right? Our kids really need to understand that there's someone in front of them that believes in them on a day-to-day basis, just like our teachers do. So you model that for your teachers model that for your kids. I just want to say hats off to you and your entire school. It's a huge honor. You also left some things out. Your school moved up 217 state rankings, and I learned this year. You have one of your grade levels, I don't want to give out misinformation, but I think it's either your 4th or 5th grade, that was in the top 12% in the state in student performance. So hats off to you. The numbers matter and your outcomes matter. And I just want to say thank you. Even though you look a little nervous now, I'm sure that you'll be dancing a little bit harder with your team in the back. Hats off to you.
Thank you.
So, I have a question. Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts to what you and your staff do over there with the community and everything. But is there a way to patent what you're doing? And that a way we can say, okay, hey, I can sell it to one of my other elementary schools here and stuff like that? Because, well, she wants money for hers.
I believe the word we're searching for is mongerize the other schools.
That's not the word we're
I
searching
don't
for.
think that's the right
Absolutely
word.
not. Keep
So-
going.
Sounds like a word I'd come up with, though, but you can own that one.
Okay.
You do, your crew and your team, do so well down there, and and you exceed all expectations on a regular basis and stuff like that, and then you're to be applauded for that. Okay, but how do we can what you're doing, and so here we can take it to here, to here, to here, to here, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
There, we get asked that, and it's not just one thing, but I will say that it is a group of people who truly, truly believe that all kids can learn and there are no excuses. It's having the right people in the right places. I am a fierce advocate for my staff because I believe the people matter. And, you know, there are things I advocate for really, really hard. It's small class sizes, it's like minded people. You couldn't work at Munger if you made excuses, if you didn't own results. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but everybody there truly would go above and beyond for kids and they don't make excuses. Like, I have to talk people off the ledge when they get their data back and their results back sometimes. But over the years, like the course of our conversations, because they're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Oh, they didn't. And it's okay. It's just one measure, you know, because we really just own it. So when I highlighted up there, because I assumed that question would come, like, what are you doing? And yeah, it is. It's the systems. We have systems in place for everything. It is definitely whole child. I mean, we have a team of support staff that tries to take the load of all of the social emotional burdens that our kids carry off the teachers so that teachers can focus on teaching. But there's a lot of whole child, but it really is a common shared belief that here's what we expect and we don't waver from it. So kids can do what you expect them to do, and it takes every single person from teachers to support staff, secretaries, custodians, the lunchroom paras. Like, we are all accountable for here's what our expectations are, and everybody in the building is responsible for holding kids accountable to them.
No, April,
Thank you.
I'll say no doubt there's a lot of variables that goes into that, but I love simple math. And I think the equation you share with us, it speaks to the volume of that. And that is engaged students plus engaged families equals equal improved attendance and improved outcomes and things like that. So to Doug's point, I think part of the variables also include those things.
Definitely. And it takes extra resources and money and effort, you know, to meet the needs. We have a very diverse group. It's a beautiful thing over there. But it does take extra without after school programming, without the tutoring that we do, without the interventions, without the social workers, without the support team. Like, you take any of those things out of the equation and we are taking a piece of what it takes to educate a whole child.
April, you are a phenomenal leader. We've had lots of private conversations in your office, and I appreciate your dedication. I believe change starts at the top, and your staff wouldn't be able to do what they do if you weren't modeling the right behavior and holding them accountable for those outcomes. So thank you for your outstanding leadership. And I can't believe you're so nervous. She's normally bouncing off the walls, and you get up here being nervous. I can't believe it.
I like, we see you in the school and how you just like have everything going. This is like kind of like cute to see you kind of like, oh, wait, there's being vulnerable.
I'm really excited, like bragging to my team, my staff when we're celebrating. But like I said, I kind of feel like they should be up here talking, not me. So it's embarrassing. I don't know. So thanks for calling out that I'm nervous.
No, I think it's
because
great.
I am.
No, it's humanizing. So yeah, no, thank you, April. It's amazing. Like, I think about like 3 years ago, the first time I ever saw like, you know, what you shared. And it was like the one point you said is that like from the minute they walk in the school, the expectations are there. And we just keep rolling out. Your staff rolls out until they catch on to it. And then before you know it, like the little ones are sharing it with the next ones, and it just catches on. And like going into your school, you can see like every one of your guys' hallways, what your expectations are everywhere. And they just know it. And I think you're right. Like, you show it and share it with them, and they'll model it and bring their peers alongside of them. So Yeah, it's a great little school, and man, you guys are killing it, even with all the construction and everything that's happened in that neighborhood and everything. You just keep rolling. So yay to you guys back there. Yeah, congratulations.
And all of the Munger staff stand
Yeah,
up,
stand up.
please.
Yeah, it's over there. Yeah, you can run.
Okay, thank
Go,
you.
girl.
Well done. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, we have the Excellence of Elkhart. Ms. Wood.
It really is. Thank you, President Scott, members of the board, Dr. Huff, community members. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share highlights in the area of academics, arts, and athletics. For academics, at Westside Middle School, Mrs. Walt's sixth grade high ability students explored how the sun's shadow changed throughout the day. Building an understanding of the Earth's movement in space, they are preparing for a field trip to the Challenger Space Center later this month. At Hawthorne Early Learning Center, Title I pre-K students in 3 classrooms went on a number adventure practicing the number 2 and learning to create squares with 4 equal sides and corners. In the area of arts, Elkhart High School's Air Force, JROTC, Color Guard, and Marching Band proudly represented the Lions at the Elkhart Labor Day Parade. At the freshman division, Mr. Summers' Intro to 3D Art students completed an impressive origami challenge, folding over 2,500 cranes in 3 class periods and creating a sculpture that showcased their creativity. For athletics, the elementary fall sports season is in full swing. At Woodland Elementary School, under the leadership of Coach Karina Flores, girls volleyball students athletes have been working hard to perfect their skills and sharpen their game time strategies. That's not the right slide, is it?
All right.
Well, we're backwards. We'll go back one. The high school football team secured their win of the season with a 17-7 victory over Northridge. In a historic moment for the program, the girls' flag football team won their first game ever with a 31-0 score against South Bend Adams. Future happenings. September 11th, we have our full-service resource fair from 5 to 7 at Woodland Crossing. Also on the 11th, Elkhart Volleyball has an alumni night. September 12th is the Emmons Coach Award at halftime, and September 26th is homecoming. As always, please be sure to follow our district and school social media pages as we share each day as the excellence of Elkhart Community Schools. Thank you.
You, Wendy. Next on the agenda, I have the consent items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion. I have a second. Do I have any discussion or questions from the board?
Yes, we have donations from the community of $6,810. And of that money, $3,173 went to our athletics. The Blazer Club donated to 2 different sports, cheerleading for $1,360 and to girls soccer for $630 to grow those programs. Goshen College donated $1,000 to football to make improvements and grow the program. And a donation of $750 came from Mike Krempick for improvements to the athletic team room. Once again, United Physicians Hospital did wonderful by our surgical program at the Career Center. They received $2,000 to purchase surgical supplies, and Elizabeth Boyd donated $800 to make the Elkhart Academy Pride Awards program even better. So at $6,810, our community brought it to us again.
Mullins? Any other discussion? Seeing or hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, Mr. Thorne, we have, under old business, we have contracts.
Thank you, President Scott, members of the board, Dr. Huff. This evening, the administration presents the following contracts for final consideration. These contracts were presented for initial consideration during your August 26th meeting. On behalf of the Elkhart Area Career Center, a renewal of our agreement with Eden Barber Academy. Brandon Eakins reports to me that 9 students have, through the first 2 years of this program, obtained licensure through the Indiana Professional Licensing Agency as barbers. And then in addition, on behalf of our Elkhart Adult Education Program, a proposed agreement with Medical Communication Ambassadors to offer a course in medical interpreting services.
Tech Services is requesting approval for ad tech, administrative, and technical consulting, which is our E-rate consulting.
Good evening. The administration presents Lexia Voyager Sopris for final consideration, and this is the one for the K2 formative grant.
The administration presents the following contract for the Crossing National Incorporated. This is for our high school students.
Good evening. The administration presents the Elkhart County Special Education Cooperative Contract for final consideration.
Good evening. The administration presents Policy Analytics Contract for final consideration.
Do I have a motion for the contracts as presented?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Do I have any questions or discussion from the board?
Yeah, I think 2 weeks ago, I had a question about the results that we get from Eden Barber Academy. Was there any follow-up to that?
Yes. I just spoke to it, Mr. Weaver. We had, according to Brandon Eakins, we had 9 students graduate with a barber license from that program.
Okay, right. Okay, but percentage-wise, out of, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I know, I understand you're going to have people graduate, but what I was looking for, what's the success ratio? Is it 9 out of 18? Is it 9 out of 9?
Weaver, conveniently, I have an expert in the back of the room.
Oh, there he
Brandon
is.
Eakins, who could come up and provide you with some additional
All right.
information.
That, obviously, you know, yeah, we're going to have students graduate and stuff like that, but, you know, what is the success ratio we're having?
Brandon.
Or whatever the metric is you measure.
Good evening. So the 9 graduates that we have, the first cohort that we had was 11 students that went through. So 9 out of the first 11 have graduated successfully in the program. When we compare that to our cosmetology program, it's at a much higher percentage. Cosmetology, we usually are coming in right around about 30 to 40% of our students finish that program with the licensure. And that's a product of first hitting the hours, the 1,500 hours that they have to accumulate over the 2 years, the skills that they have to be able to check off on, and then the 2 elements of the test, which is the written portion and then the hands-on portion.
Okay, all right, excellent. That answers my question. Thank you very much. So it proves the value of the program. All right, that's what I'm looking for.
Any other questions? All in favor of the contracts as presented?
Aye.
Opposed? Contracts pass unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Thorne, Board Policy 262301, Test Administration and Security.
Thank you. The administration tonight is presenting that proposed policy, revision to policy for final consideration.
I have a motion for this policy.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Do I have any questions or discussion from the board regarding test administration and security? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Mr. Thorne, new business contracts.
The administration presents the following contracts for preliminary consideration. On behalf of Food Services, a proposed agreement with Standardized Food Service Systems, Inc., DBA Smart Systems for their safety management technology. On behalf of Adult Education Program, a proposed agreement with Lippert Components. This agreement provides the opportunity for employees of Lippert Components to have access to adult education program opportunities both at Hawthorne and at Ivy Tech. On behalf of the Career Center, a proposed agreement with Marty Dwyer, who will be supporting the Career Center's public safety program. And on behalf of Elkhart High School, a proposed agreement with startup Moxie of Elkhart County.
Thank you.
Good evening. The administration presents for your initial consideration a contract with Stacy Van Eck, school psychologist. Stacy Van Eck provides services, school psychology services. These are services required to evaluate students with potential disabilities to qualify them in one of the 13 disability categories. Stacy has covered our non-public schools over the last several years, and we have added an elementary school for her this year due to some vacancies within our school psychologist positions.
Good evening again. The administration presents the following contracts for initial consideration. NWA, a division of Houghton Mifflin Harcourt Publishing Company for high ability K through 2, and Maisie Education to oversee our title grants for this coming school year.
I believe that is all the contracts under new business. Do I have any questions or discussion from the board regarding these contracts?
Yeah, Startup Moxie, is this the first year for that proposed?
No, I think this is either the second or the third year that this program has been in place. According to Mr. Anderson, longer than that.
Okay. And so this has to do with entrepreneurship?
Yes, sir.
And so why are we not, with our business school, teaching that internally?
This is a partnership between the district and the chamber in terms of doing that. So I would say it's happening both through the School of Business, but in addition, giving students the opportunity, for example, to do pitches to industry leaders and those types of things.
Because if I read the contract, it didn't mention the Chamber of Commerce, I don't think.
When I first developed this agreement, it was in partnership with the chamber.
Yeah,
The chamber's been a
my
big
youngest
advocate.
daughter went through the program with the Chamber of
Yeah.
Commerce, hence my question. You know, we've changed our schools of studies and we have a business school and stuff like that. And it seems to me like this should be a natural fit within that. And also having the coursework be applicable to credits at Ivy Tech. And so, you know, we're paying money to other people to do what maybe we should be doing internally now at this point, is my question. So anyhow, but I won't be here next week to vote on it, so you don't have to worry about that.
Thank you, Mr. Rubin.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, Mr. Thorne, under new business, we have board policy 0166.1, the consent agenda.
Thank you, President Scott, members of the board, Dr. Huff. The administration presents proposed new board policy 01661, which relates to the consent agenda. The proposed addition to your bylaws provides a listing of the items the board has generally included on its consent agenda and adds the ability to make technical corrections. For example, correction of a typographical or numbering error in a policy or a misspelled name in the minutes as part of the consent agenda. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we had a
Scrivener
community
errors.
member who had some questions about policy. Bringing this to you tonight for your preliminary consideration.
You, board, do we have any questions regarding the consent agenda, board policy? Hearing or seeing none, we'll move on. Mr. Thorne, resolution authorized by Senate Enrolled Act 249.
Thank you.
And House Enrolled Act 100.
Yes, legislation enacted during the 2025 session of the Indiana General Assembly provides authority to make adjustments to the revenue available for collective bargaining related to both supplemental payments, such as those that were approved by the board earlier this year, as well as to exclude from the amount of educational fund revenue available for collective bargaining those funds allocated this school year for curriculum materials. This proposed resolution, if approved, will make those adjustments, and we're seeking your approval this evening of that resolution.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? I have a motion. I have a second. Do I have any questions or discussions from the board regarding this resolution? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next resolution, well, regarding Chartwells.
Thank you. The administration seeks approval of a proposed resolution authorizing and approving the payment of a hiring incentive to food service employees who are now employed by Chartwells and an adjustment to paid leave benefits for those food service staff members who will remain in the employ of Elkhart Community Schools. Seeking approval of that proposed resolution this evening.
Thank you. On this particular resolution, upon discussion with the board, I'd like to motion that this resolution be removed from the agenda tonight and placed on the agenda for the next board meeting to allow a slight adjustment to the verbiage.
All right.
Do I have a second? I have a motion. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have the resolution for accepting the transfer of real property from the City of Elkhart Redevelopment Commission.
The administration is seeking approval of a resolution accepting the transfer of real property from the City of Elkhart Redevelopment Commission. This property will be used by the Elkhart Area Career Center Building Trades Program for the construction of new homes. This project will benefit our community through the addition of new housing within the City of Elkhart and within the boundaries of Elkhart Community Schools.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and I have a second. Any comments or questions from the board regarding this resolution? Hearing or seeing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Very much.
Thank you, Mr. Thorne. Dr. Hoff, the floor is yours.
President Scott, members of the board, community. I just wanted to echo again, really an outstanding presentation by the Monger team. Many of you don't know, actually last year they were, their school wanted to be visited by the IDOE for their outstanding practices and the things that they do for children. So Doug, when you were talking about selling things to other schools, which I would not recommend, what I do recommend is that we share openly and lovingly with our colleagues around the state. And so again, they're making a lot of magic down there. So I just want to tell you, hats off to your squad of outstanding educators. And also, too, your building custodian in your building. April, look at your face. You can literally eat off the floor at that school. It is magnificent. The way that the school is taken care of. So hats off to your team in that as well. I also want to give a huge shout out to our building maintenance team. They've been moving books around our district at a phenomenal pace. If Mr. Paulson, if you're watching, you and your team, I know Dr. Roush has been emailing them every single day to get things shipped from here to there as we receive a lot of our textbooks in from our vendors in our district. So I know that's not been an easy task. So thank you, Dr. Roush, for coordinating on this end, but it does take someone to actually move things from here to there. So I just want to say thank you to Mr. Paulson and his team. This on September 11th this week, there's a couple things that are happening. I have the pleasure of speaking at the Chamber Superintendent Breakfast this week with our colleagues from Concord and from Bago. So I look forward to sharing all the great things that are happening in Elkhart, but also to talk about some of the challenges that we are facing, not just here in our district, but every other district around the state of Indiana. If you're watching other news or wherever you receive your information, I still cannot comprehend about all the things that are tied up in Senate Enrolled Act 1. Superintendents and their staff, leadership, building, teachers, all of us know that that is some of the most devastating legislation that has impacted Indiana and will shape us for years. And so I look forward to speaking to our legislators who will be there to advocate on the behalf of Elkhart Community Schools, but also to really talk about the reality of how this impacts kids and the way that we do work. So look forward to that on September 11th. And then on that evening, we have a resource fair in our community. I know you spoke about it, Mrs. Wood, at the beginning, but I want to give a huge thanks to Regina Robinson for putting that together. Over 60 vendors are going to be joining us that evening just to talk about how our community comes alongside of our schools to make things work for our kids. All of us need something a little bit different to be successful. So I'm glad that there's so many people who want to work alongside of our schools. And so the beginning of the year. It's flying by. I can't believe we're almost at the middle of September. And so I just want to tell you, thank you to our staff, our community, anyone who touches the lives of the kids. Someone reminded me that the words that you say to children will matter. They matter. They matter for a long time. They might be the only thing that they hear positive that day. So remember, whether it's a child, whether it's yourself, whether it's a colleague, you can never praise someone more than you think, or you think somebody else has it or they got it. That's not typically how that works. So I just want to say again, thank you to everyone who's trying to make a difference in the life of a kid. So appreciate it. I'm going to turn it back over to you, President Scott.
Thank you, Dr. Huff. Anything from the board?
Yes, this afternoon I was over at the Diesel Technology Building, and it's impressive to see a facility that has 16 doors to it and stuff like that. I mean, that's 8 plus 8. That's huge. They're still working on filling out the other 8 doors there. And also I walked through the construction building, the new classrooms that they have up there, and all that is going to be absolutely huge. Last but not least, I'd like to give a shout out to the city of Elkhart for the awesome concert that they had on Saturday evening with the Commodores and Kool and the Gang. And so the evening finished with Kool and the Gang doing celebration, and the mayor and his wife Regina cutting a rug on the stage, doing their best of 80s moves or something like that. I'm not sure, but it was very impressive. And the city of Elkhart, they're coming back, as are we. So it's a good message for our city. It's a good message for our school. And it's also a good message in the fact that, how much music determines the culture, within our community here. So thank you very much.
I'd like to highlight some things that I think, we're so focused on English language arts and math, but we also know that science and social studies are important as well for the development of our kids. And specifically for science, science really is the application of what they're learning in language arts and what they're learning in math, and being able to put that in using that in realistic ways to help them learn and make those connections. And one of the things we haven't talked about was our science results from the last iLearn exam. So I just wanted to give a big shout out to Mary Fieser and their fourth grade fourth grade team of teachers beat the state average for science. And so that's a huge deal. They improved their scores over 20%. And I don't think many people realize that. So I wanted to highlight them. I also wanted to highlight Eastwood, Bristol, and Woodland. They also had some big gains in fourth grade. Beardsley and Cleveland had big gains in sixth grade. And so I think as the world we live in with the technology and the STEM careers, having that science piece is really important for our kids to make those connections. So just a highlight to the staff and what they're doing to help increase those numbers and making science fun and realistic and making connections to the pathways of the jobs of today and tomorrow.
Thank you, Ann. Anyone else?
Coming to you with another episode of Kelly's Corner. This is a new podcast that I created inside of this little board meeting, and it's going to feature different aspects of our school system. And tonight I am going to feature our payroll department, a department that many people very much appreciate every other week, but they often forget about how hard they work. And recently they have really been working overtime. And I want to give a special shout out to Chris in the superintendent's office that has also jumped over there, and Maggie in her department. But our payroll department, as they go through the ebb and flows of everything that we hear about finances, has just really stepped up to do some remarkable things. So inside of this building, know that you are recognized, you are appreciated, and you are applauded, payroll department. And I felt like it was kind of like one of those commercials that we celebrate you, payroll department. So I'll see you in 2 weeks with our next department of celebration.
Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome. Kelly's Corner.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly's Corner.
Thank you.
I feel like now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do we have?
We have a commercial break.
Right. Yes, it's called adjournment. So if nothing else, I now adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone.